Hi, boys and girls. It's Miss McClure here. Today I want to read an Easter story for you. The title of this one is The Easter Egg Farm. It is written and illustrated by Mary Jane Auck. Do you remember what an author does? Yes, an author writes the words, and the illustrator is the one who draws or paints the pictures for the book. The Easter Egg Farm. The Easter Egg Farm. Here's the dedication page. For Patty McLaughlin and Pauline, her French-speaking hen. Pauline lived in Mrs. Pennyworth's hen house with 4 other hens. Each day, Mrs. Pennyworth collected the eggs. "Only 4 eggs again today?" she asked. "Somebody isn't doing her job. Are you all trying?" The hens clucked. "Well, try harder. I want 5 eggs tomorrow. Concentrate." Pauline was embarrassed. She was the one not laying an egg. Every time she tried, the other hens squabbled. Pauline couldn't concentrate in all the confusion. "Pauline is lazy," one hen clucked. "I'm not lazy," Pauline said. "I'm just different." She turned her back on the others and concentrated very hard. Finally, a wonderful thing happened. Pauline stepped back to look at the egg in her nest. It wasn't like the other eggs, but Pauline thought it was beautiful. "Get a load of this," another hen cackled. "Pauline just laid the world's ugliest egg." "It's not ugly," Pauline said. "It's just different." But Pauline began to feel ashamed of her egg. She nudged it under the straw with her beak. Look at her eyes and her facial expression. The harder Pauline tried to lay a normal egg, the stranger her eggs got. She hid each one of them, but not before the other hens had seen them and made fun of her. Look at her different eggs. They all look like something different. When Pauline couldn't stand the teasing any longer, she made herself a nest outdoors. She stared at the sky, concentrating very hard. This time her egg came out blue with clouds. But before Pauline could hide the egg, someone saw it. Mrs. Pennyworth. "Pauline, what a lovely egg," she said, holding it up in the sunshine. "This is too unusual to crack open for my breakfast. I'll put it on my windowsill where everyone can enjoy it." The next day, Pauline laid an egg that was even more unusual. Mrs. Pennyworth was delighted. "Can you make more eggs like this?" Then Mrs. Pennyworth noticed the ladybug on a blade of grass right in front of Pauline. "Hey, I get it. The egg comes out looking like whatever you see, right?" Pauline blinked. She wasn't quite sure how it worked herself. "This is fantastic," Mrs. Pennyworth said. "Come into the house with me. We'll see what kind of eggs you can lay there." Pauline loved being inside. There were lots of pretty things to look at. In her new surroundings, Pauline became quite creative. Soon her unusual eggs lined the windowsills of Mrs. Pennyworth's house. You can see some of the different eggs that she started to lay when she was inside the house. One day, a lady appeared at the window. "Are these lovely Easter eggs for sale? I need one for every child in town. They are for the annual Easter egg hunt." "No problem. We can lay that many eggs, can't we, Pauline? We? Thought Pauline. She'd never seen Mrs. Pennywort lay an egg, so she knew it was up to her. Laying eggs for the Easter egg hunt would be an honor. She clucked happily. Come back for your eggs the night before Easter, said Mrs. Pennywort. Pauline was excited. She started laying 2 eggs a day, then 3, then 4. Mrs. Pennywort began taking Pauline on field trips for inspiration. The first week they went to the art museum. Look at those eggs. So she looked at the works of art, and those were her inspirations for the eggs that she laid later. The second week they went to the ballet. Pauline was so thrilled by the music and dancing, she laid more eggs than ever when they got home. Finally, it was the day before Easter. The egg lady will be here tonight, said Mrs. Pennywort. I'd better start packing up the eggs. She lifted an egg from the windowsill. Uh-oh, there's a crack in this shell. Mrs. Pennywort ran to another window. Pauline, some of the eggs are hatching. We shouldn't have left them in the sunshine. Soon baby chicks were popping up all over the sunny side of the house. Stay in there, Mrs. Pennywort shouted at the unhatched chicks. You are ruining the eggs. But the chicks didn't listen. They kept hatching and hatching. Mrs. Pennywort took the broken shells to the table and frantically tried to glue them together. It's no use. I was never good at craft projects. Just then there was a knock at the door. Yoo-hoo! Called the egg lady. I'm here for the Easter eggs. Do I have a deal for you? Cried Mrs. Pennywort. How would you like Easter chicks instead of Easter eggs? Terrific, the egg lady said, as bright colored chicks scurried around her. Easter chicks are even better than Easter eggs. Mrs. Pennywort helped the egg lady gather the chicks, but as fast as they were popped into a basket, the chicks jumped out again. Mrs. Pennywort heard a clucking noise and looked up. Pauline was fluffed up twice her normal size. She spread her wings like an umbrella, protecting the chicks who raced toward her. Oh, Pauline, said Mrs. Pennywort, of course we can't give away the chicks. They are your babies. But what about the Easter egg hunt? The egg lady asked. The eggs on the shady side of the house didn't hatch, Mrs. Pennywort said. You can take those. Pauline kept all of her babies. She loved being a mother. Every day she took her chicks for a walk, showing them the beautiful things around the farm. The chicks' grown-up feathers started to come in. These chicks sure are different, said Mrs. Pennywort. Pauline clucked proudly. Notice what it started out, the egg. Then it hatched as a chick, and as it grew up, it looked just like the egg that Pauline had laid. Soon Pauline's daughters were laying their own eggs. They took turns in the nest box, laying eggs of every color and design. Children from miles around came to see the unusual eggs and chickens. Mrs. Pennywort's farm became known as the Easter Egg Farm. Pauline still lives on the Easter Egg Farm, but she doesn't lay as many eggs as she used to. Now, whenever she feels an egg coming on, Pauline closes her eyes. She doesn't concentrate on anything. Then she lays a perfectly ordinary, plain white egg, just to be different. I hope you enjoyed the Easter story, boys and girls. has a beautiful illustration on the back cover of some of the eggs that Pauline laid. Before I go, I'd like to ask you some comprehension questions. Where was the setting of this story? If you said on Mrs. Pennyworth's egg farm, you are correct. Who do you think the main characters are in this story? The hens, especially Pauline, Mrs. Pennyworth, and the Easter egg lady. What is the main idea of this story? I'm going to give you 3 choices. Is the main idea about a family going on vacation? Is the main idea a little boy goes to the park and plays with his friends? Or is the main idea a hen lays some very different eggs, but everybody starts to love them? If you chose the last one, you're correct. This story is about a hen laying different eggs, and everybody does love those different eggs. Last question. Do you think this story is fiction or nonfiction? You're right, it's fiction. Hens don't really lay eggs like this, and hens do not talk. I hope you all have a happy Easter and you find some beautiful Easter eggs or decorate some Easter eggs yourself. See you later.